It's almost time for Dragon Tales. Come along.
Yo. What is going on today, everybody? Welcome back to yet another video. Alright, today we have a video from the longest. Wait, is that even alright?
I beg your pardon?
Terminology. Anyways, we have another video to check out from SCP Illustrated, or Mr. Illustrated as he's called now. This is SCP-3844. Hope your day is going well. Hope your week is going well. Hope everything's alright with you. If it's not, I hope things get better for you. And without further ado, let's get into this.
In April of 1906, a scientist in the Alps discovered a single irrefutable truth. There are dragons in the mountains, and he spent the rest of his life trying to prove it was untrue. SCP-3844, written by Captain Kirby, is about the slow march of technological understanding and its effect on our sense of wonder. And if that sounds like a mouthful, that's because it's a complex piece. It starts in 1906 and follows Dr. Lester Fegmont's adventures in the Dolomite mountain range, a section of the Alps in northeastern Italy. It used a non-standard format to open with, as the modern SCP Foundation's formatting wasn't adopted until much later. This version is simply a letter from Dr. Fegmont to an individual only identified as Frederick. In the letter, our intrepid doctor recalls how he spotted something miraculous flying overhead, a dragon. This dragon fits all the stories you've heard about them. It's huge, it breathes fire, and it collects treasure. Tharnok is the dragon's name, as the good doctor soon learns, and the anomaly is a friendly sort of beast. Once confronted in his cave, Tharnok transforms into a human in order to seem less threatening. He speaks with the exploration team.
Why is he naked?
Agreement. The terms are paraphrased from the article as follows. The anomaly will only fly out of its cave once a day. It will remain in the Dolomite Mountains and stay low, and it will not roar or speak during its trips. The Foundation, on the other hand, must recruit an ambassador to meet with the anomaly once per week, so Tharnok has someone to speak with and work to punish anyone who tries to steal from the anomaly's treasure hoard. Finally, the nation of Italy has to discourage civilians from going into the mountains and discredit any reports of the anomaly's existence. With the pact sealed, the anomaly is left to its own devices, and the Foundation scientists leave the mountains. At the bottom of the page, you can navigate to a more recent iteration of the document, and in doing so, you will see the documents as they existed in the early 1940s. It's over 70 meters long, it has a similarly sized wingspan, the fire it breathes is over 3,400 degrees Celsius. It speaks 14 languages, and the wealth it has accumulated is so vast that it's uncountable. There is a note about using artillery to shoot down anything flying over the containment perimeter, with a notable lack of exceptions for the anomaly itself. It seems the Foundation is willing to kill this thing if they cannot keep it contained. Later in this iteration, an interview with the anomaly by Dr. Lester Fegmont, the writer of the original documentation in 1906, is carried out. In this interview, it seems the anomaly is aware of its own updated containment procedures, and has been told that it is no longer to fly under any circumstances. The anomaly does not seem to object too strenuously to these limitations, though it does seem hopeful that the more restrictive measures will end after the war. Because of course, this is northern Italy in 1941. World War II is in full swing.
Yeah.
It won't be until 1943 that the first invasion of Italy by the Allies begins. Until then, the area is under Axis control. And with this backdrop, the cause for the more restrictive containment procedures starts to come into a sharper focus. The interview log even explicitly calls it out in this exchange.
The war is your whole world, isn't it?
Not so much. Governments just pay us to keep anomalies out of the hands of the other side. Can't imagine what would happen if people got a hold of anomalous rifles or...
Dragons.
Yes, dragons.
This is followed by quite a bit of silence. In fact, we skip all the way to the 80s. It's never explained in the work how the Foundation retained access to SCP-3844 during the Axis' control over Europe, or the troubling implication that the Foundation is a neutral participant in the Second World War. But in the end, the article skips over all of this. Each iteration is quite short after all, and moves on to the updated document set later in the century. By 1984, something has happened to the anomaly. Over the past 43 years, it has gotten considerably smaller. Its dragon's breath is cooler than it was in the 40s. Perhaps more perplexingly, the value of the anomaly's hoard is now
It's losing its power, bro.
a countable amount in the billions.
It's because you're not letting it out.
It knows less languages as well, which was an unexpected detail. Almost all of the other changes can have mundane explanations. Maybe. It's been kept in captivity for 40 years, so it shrunk, it became less powerful. The hoard was never truly priceless, just harder to count. And now the Foundation has had time to quantify it, everything makes sense. But going from knowing 14 languages to 7 is less explainable. Something is going wrong here. The interview log sheds a bit of light on this problem. Dr. Lester Fegmont is now an O5 council member. In the interview, the dragon wonders at modern science. It expresses curiosity on the topics of radiation and chemistry, and there's a bit of a hint as to what may be happening here, as outlined in the following exchange.
Before long, you might have an explanation for my kind.
Well, you'd be surprised how far science can get you. My division has discovered that some things aren't even anomalous in the first place.
But there's not enough here to draw any certain conclusions, so let's move on to 2007. This iteration of the document does not start promisingly. The anomaly is labelled neutralized. A number of things are crossed out and rephrased in the past tense. More importantly, the anomaly is now at most 10 meters long, with a wingspan of around 8 meters, far from the majestic dragon first outlined in 1906. The dragon's hoard is only worth 13 million now. Perhaps more troubling is the fact that the anomaly only spoke 2 languages at the time of its neutralization. This document contains...
It's because you're not letting it live, you're not letting it be. Probably part of its existence relied on the what ifs. Like, if a kid sees it while it's flying over, the kid's like, oh my gosh, it's a dragon, and then that like boosts its existence or whatever. Like you got to believe, bro. it's not science, it's just belief, it's faith, bro.
It's an interview as well. In it, SCP-3844 expresses disbelief that Dr. Lester Fegmont is still alive, given standard human lifespans, but the O5 council member rebuts that thermatology and time-affecting technology has led to his longevity. The dragon calls that magic. Fegmont disagrees. And as the interview progresses, the anomaly speaks on the topic of magic, and how it finds technology and science fascinating, but thinks it might have an allergy to it, or something. The anomaly informs Dr.
It's the antithesis, science versus magic.
Fegmont that it will be breaching containment. It says that it cannot live here in containment anymore, that it won't believe that the world lacks a need of whimsy. The Foundation shoots Tharnok down and kills it almost immediately after it takes off.
Bro,
when they recover...
What the heck, bro? What the heck, bro?
The body, they discover a non-anomalous species of flying lizard. The cavern that once housed it is now only a meter deep. Everything about the creature that made it anomalous is gone. In its place is a dead, mundane lizard. But the story does not end there. If you click through to the next iteration of the document, you'll find a document that outlines even more creatures just like 3844 throughout the world, in the Himalayan, Rocky, Appalachian, Andes, and Dolomite mountain ranges. At the end is a single note: dragons. There are still dragons in the mountains. SCP-3844 is a bit more complex than one might initially consider on the surface, but the underlying message is clear. Understanding the world causes the magic to die inside us. One can think about a child's belief in Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny.
Exactly,
your own
bro.
experiences late at night on Christmas Eve, wanting to stay up so that you could hear or catch a glimpse of a truly magical being out of your window, and how a single revelation from your parents or a friend at school can irrevocably ruin that experience forever.
Exactly.
In the world of the Foundation, a real medieval-style dragon. Over time, and through hard work, the Foundation explained it away. Literally. But the ending hangs a hat on the idea that perhaps the magic isn't completely dead for everyone, because there are more dragons in mountains all over the world. Though if you dig a bit deeper into the meaning, you may not find this to be as uplifting an ending as you first suspected. The Foundation discovered a dragon and choked it to death for over nearly a century.
Yep.
Now they know about the other dragons. With all they've learned in 100 years, how long might it take before the Foundation destroys magic? Forever. Check out this video for another great story,
That's crazy.
and please be sure to...
Bro, that's kind of sad, bro. They just do too much trying to contain everything. So they, even though they think they might be protecting something from something, they're really hurting something. You know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say. All right. Without further ado, yo, that's gonna end the video, bro. Peace.